My ex cheated on me, told me I'd never find someone like her because I was out of her league. 1 year later, I got engaged to the woman everyone thought was unattainable, and now my ex is losing her mind over the photos. Let's rewind 2 years. I was 33, living in Austin, Texas, and working as a software engineer. Your typical introvert, honestly. I just ended a decent, but ultimately empty relationship. And dating in your 30s in a big city wasn't exactly a walk in the park. Most evenings, I was either gaming, coding, or hiking with my dog, Rusty, a German Shepherd mix who was my loyal shadow. My friends nudged me into trying an actual relationship app, not Tinder, but the serious kind. My expectations were low, but then I matched with Lauren. Lauren, 30, worked in marketing for a tech startup, and I'm not exaggerating, she looked like she'd stepped out of a magazine. She was 5 feet 10, platinum blonde, and had this gaze that could slice through glass. Our first conversation, effortless. We both loved indie rock, binge-watched the same Netflix docs, and even rooted for the same hopeless football team. A couple of weeks in, I got the nerve to ask her out. We met at this hidden ramen joint in a rundown strip mall, the kind of place locals guard as a secret. The moment she walked in, heads turned, she looked otherworldly. I remember the mix of pride and dread. No way this lasts, I thought, but I was determined to enjoy the ride. The night was perfect. We talked for hours, shut the place down, and discovered we'd grown up in nearby towns in Oklahoma before moving to Texas. Lauren laughed easily, told great stories, and even liked my dorky apartment with its mismatched IKEA furniture and gaming posters. Within a month, we were inseparable. She started spending most nights at my place, bringing her fancy coffees and skincare routines, and Rusty adored her. On the surface, it was a dream. I'd never felt luckier. But there were cracks, even early on. Lauren attracted attention everywhere, constant stares, guys flirting right in front of me, dismissed from strangers. She'd show me the wildest ones, laughing it off, always saying I was the only one she cared about. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? Things moved fast. Within 3 months, Lauren was almost living with me. She'd bring over specialty coffee beans and turn lazy Sundays into her own spa days, teaching me the difference between serums and face masks. Rusty, my dog, was head over paws for her, and she joked he was the real man of the house. But even in those golden months, I noticed a subtle tension beneath the surface. Lauren was used to attention, and sometimes she basked in it. Guys would offer to buy her drinks at bars, sometimes with me right there. She handled it with a laugh and polite brush off, then gave me a wink like we were in on some private joke. It made me feel special, like I was winning a prize everyone wanted. Still, a few things gnawed at me. Once in bed after a late night, she mentioned hall passes, that old game where you each pick a celebrity you'd theoretically be allowed to sleep with. But the way Lauren said it, she was half serious, claiming most celebrities wouldn't even say no to her. The arrogance was new, unsettling, but I laughed it off. Over time, her phone habits changed. Lauren, who'd once tossed her phone anywhere, now kept it locked and face down. Calls became private. She'd slip into the hallway, her voice dropping to a whisper. She started coming home later, too. Work stuff, she'd say, or ran into a friend. Once or twice was nothing, but soon, late arrivals became routine, with thin explanations that felt rehearsed. Our intimacy slipped from spontaneous to mechanical. She'd snap at me for asking simple questions. Anytime I pushed, she accused me of being jealous, of not trusting her. I hated confrontation, so I dropped it, but the suspicion festered. One night, she came home nearly 3 hours late, smelling of expensive cologne that wasn't mine. She brushed me off, claiming she'd been out with coworkers, and spun a story so detailed it almost seemed genuine. But it was like watching someone read lines from a script. Her eyes wouldn't meet mine, her fingers twisted through her hair, a nervous tic I'd only seen when she was hiding something. It all started to feel wrong. Too many coincidences, too many secrets. The air in the apartment got heavy, like we were both holding our breath. I wanted to believe her, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the woman I'd fallen for was slipping away into shadows I couldn't reach. Finally, after weeks of suspicion gnawing at me, I cracked. We were eating takeout on the couch, her favorite pad thai, my usual green curry. I just blurted it out. "Lauren, is everything okay? You're distant, always gone, always on your phone." At first, she looked wounded, then defensive. She claimed it was just stress at work, that I was being paranoid. But I pressed, and for a moment, her mask slipped, her voice softened, her eyes darted away, and she apologized for making me feel uneasy. Things seemed better for a few days. She made an effort to be affectionate, came home earlier, put her phone down more often, but something was still off. Her stories about her day felt forced, and her affection seemed like it was done on autopilot, not out of love. One evening, she got home much later than usual and claimed she'd gone for drinks with a former coworker. She gave me every detail: the bar, the drinks, the conversation. But I didn't believe a word of it. The tension was driving me insane. That night, I barely slept. I lay there staring at the ceiling, Rusty curled up by my feet, every nerve screaming that Lauren was hiding something. I needed answers, but I knew she'd never give them up willingly. I did something I never thought I would. I hired a private investigator. Yeah, it sounds like something out of a TV show, but I was desperate. The next day on my lunch break, I met with Mike, a grizzled ex-cop with his own agency in a strip mall off I-35. He listened, took notes, and told me he'd seen this 100 times. We agreed on 10 days of surveillance. I'd be living off ramen after paying his fee, but I had to know the truth. Those 10 days were agony. I pretended everything was normal while Mike followed Lauren after work. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, could barely focus at work. Rusty sensed something was wrong, whining at my side every night. Finally, Mike called. I met him, heart in my throat, and he confirmed what I feared. Lauren was seeing someone else. He handed me a folder with photos, her arm in arm with some guy, kissing in a parking lot. Everything inside me froze. I thanked Mike, paid his fee, and drove home, my mind blank except for one thought. It was over. I got home before Lauren that evening. I sat on the couch with Rusty, staring at the wall, rehearsing what I'd say. When I heard her keys in the lock, my chest tightened. She came in all smiles, wearing a dress I'd always liked, chatting about her day like nothing was wrong. I stopped her cold with 4 words: "We need to talk." She saw my expression and instantly stiffened. I told her everything I knew about the affair. I'd hired a pie. I had proof. For a moment, her eyes widened in shock, but then she laughed. Not the embarrassed laugh of someone caught, but the cold, dismissive laugh of someone who truly believes they're untouchable. She stood over me, smirking, and said, "So what? It was just a fling. You'll never find anyone on my level again." Her words stung more than the betrayal itself. There was no apology, no regret, just pure arrogance. In that instant, something inside me snapped. All the pain, the humiliation, it turned into a steady, burning anger. I stood up, looked her dead in the eyes, and told her exactly what I thought of her and that I was done. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, and Rusty's leash, and walked out. I didn't even bother to pack. That night, Rusty and I ended up at a cheap, pet-friendly motel. The place reeked of cigarettes, but at least I could breathe. I lay there, replaying the whole mess in my head, feeling more lost than ever. The next morning, I went back to our apartment while Lauren was supposed to be at work, hoping to grab my essentials and leave quietly. But she was there, eyes red, face puffy, still wearing that same smug smile. "I knew you'd come back," she said. I ignored her, packed my things in silence, and left without a word. As I closed the door, she called after me, You'll regret this." That was it. I blocked her number, crashed at my buddy Kevin's place for a few weeks, and started looking for a new apartment. Kevin never liked Lauren much. He just handed me a beer, let me play his Xbox, and said nothing. Sometimes that's all you need. Moving into my own place was like coming up for air. It was small, a little rundown, but it was mine. Rusty adapted quickly, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a flicker of hope. The aftermath hit hard. I cycled through every stage of heartbreak, anger, sadness, self-doubt. There were nights I'd stare at the ceiling, replaying Lauren's words, wondering if she'd been right. Was I really never going to find someone on her level? But little by little, life crept back in. I threw myself into work, picked up new hobbies, even started going to therapy, something I should have done long ago. Weeks passed. I went back to the old apartment one last time to get the rest of my things, taking Kevin and another friend with me. Lauren was there and looked genuinely shocked that I was actually finishing things for good. She tried texting me from new numbers, first gloating, then bitter, then almost pleading. Her last message, "You'll never find anyone like me." For the first time, I believed her, but not in the way she meant. About 7 months later, I was in a much better place. My new apartment felt like home. Work was going well, and I was seeing friends more, even letting Kevin drag me to a few bar trivia nights. Then came my 15-year high school reunion in Dallas. At first, I wasn't sure I wanted to go, but old friends convinced me. Why not? I found a halfway decent shirt, rolled in with zero expectations, and was instantly hit by nostalgia streamers, Bad Punch, the whole 9 yards. The popular kids weren't so intimidating anymore. I even reconnected with an old classmate, Madison Hayes, back in high school. She was the one everyone secretly had a crush on, but nobody had the nerve to ask out. She'd gone on to do some modeling in New York. Her Instagram showed magazine covers, travel, art, but in person, she was genuine, funny, and shockingly down-to-earth. Her best friend, Lisa, let slip that Madison had actually asked about me before the reunion. I thought she was joking. Madison Hayes interested in me. After what I'd just been through, it felt like a punchline. But we got to talking, and something just clicked. We caught up about life, jobs, family, and when the reunion ended, I decided to take a leap and DM her. 5 days of radio silence. I figured that was that. Then, out of nowhere, she messaged back, full of energy and smiley emojis. We started chatting, first online, then video calls, then hours-long late-night conversations that felt like we were teenagers again. Madison was in LA at the time for a photo shoot, but we connected instantly. A few weeks after those first DMs, Madison suggested we switch to FaceTime. We talked almost every night, sharing everything: old high school stories, career fails, favorite movies, even dumb inside jokes. I felt myself opening up in a way I never had with Lauren. Madison was direct, honest, and had a warmth that made all my old insecurities feel silly. Eventually, I booked a flight to LA to see her. It felt insane, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this was something real. Meeting Madison in person was surreal. She was even more stunning off camera. But what hit hardest was how normal and genuine she was. We explored the city, hit up her favorite diners. She introduced me to friends from her modeling agency, and no surprise, Rusty adored her too. After that trip, we made it official. Madison started shifting her modeling gigs to Texas so we could be closer. And eventually, she moved in with me and Rusty. Our life was messy but happy. Mornings at the dog park, takeout dinners, streaming marathons, and just a comfortable, genuine partnership. Madison never made me feel like I had to earn her attention, and the anxiety I'd known with Lauren just disappeared. But here's the twist: one night, I posted some photos of Madison and me at one of her shoots, just to my close friends on Instagram. What I forgot was that Lauren was still on that list. Within hours, she messaged me, "Who's that trying to show off?" I told her calmly, "That's my girlfriend." She sent back a sarcastic "Sure." For the first time, I felt nothing, no pain, no anger, just closure. I finally blocked Lauren everywhere, and that was that. Life moved on. Nearly 2 years have passed since then, and I'm happier than I've ever been. Madison and I are planning a future together. Rusty's thriving, and I finally learned that no one is out of your league when you have a real connection built on trust and respect, not just surface attraction. Looking back, I can see every red flag I ignored with Lauren: the arrogance, the need for constant validation, the way she made me feel small. Madison is the exact opposite. Her kindness, humor, and sincerity are what make her truly beautiful. For anyone who's ever been told they'll never find better, trust me, you will.